First of all, I'd like to say thanks, Sue, for giving me the opportunity to talk to you guys today. And what I'd like to start with is just a few slides in some of the things that are quite topical right now. Just want to read that for a second. This is from the government's website. So around 42% of employers need to organize additional training for young people joining them from school or college. Another headline from the Telegraph on the 28th of August. Lacking basic skills. And they call the schools exam factories. One more headline from the BBC on the 28th of August as well. Actually, yesterday there was a headline about people who don't pass GCSE English and math, they have to take it until they get it. I've encountered a lot of evidence through my research and my teaching experience that the current educational system in this country is not fully preparing most of its students for higher education and or employment, as they are not teaching the essential skills to succeed in these arenas. I believe this creates a unique opportunity for me as a teacher for the Harrow Music Service. It's an opportunity to redefine my role in schools. Music demands dynamic thought and analysis, effective study skills, kinesthetic discipline, strong concentration, and a robust work ethic. These same skills are required for success in virtually every other field. Research has shown that by addressing this educational shortcoming through the principles of deliberate practice and a concept called growth mindset, it's possible to enable instrumental students to become self-directed learners. This is my whole purpose as a teacher. As self-directed learners take the initiative in their education by assessing their learning needs and setting appropriate learning goals. Additionally, they seek out resources and develop and apply appropriate strategies to reach these goals. Without exception, the best musicians are self-directed learners. I would like to say that I believe that this is happening to some degree in instrumental lessons currently in this music service. There's exceptional teaching in the service going on in schools, and there has been for years. I only wish to suggest that if I focus on the development of essential skills rather than assuming that they're going to happen as a byproduct of learning music, then more students will receive the benefits of possessing these skills rather than the comparatively small number of students that continue their music study for 2 years or more. If I'm always seeking to improve what I teach and how I teach it by applying the principles of deliberate practice to my work, then I'll be capable of innovation and furthering the craft of instrumental teaching. This will enable me to find new and effective ways to guide the student in the development and practice of specific skills and transfer these skills into other domains. Today, I'll begin my talk this morning by presenting some problems that these principles could begin to address. Then I'll talk about some research regarding mindsets, introduce some information on deliberate practice, and tell you my experience that motivated me to engage in this research. And finally, some suggestions on how these principles can be taught to enable the children of today to be self-directed learners and embark on a path to excellence. For the last 3 years, I've immersed myself in curriculum development and investigating research-based strategies in order to improve my teaching ability. I studied the work of Anders Ericsson and his work in deliberate practice, Dr. Carol Dweck's research in mindsets and their role in motivation, Professor Robert Fisher's study in thinking skills and metacognition, and Paul Fitz and Michael Posner's stages of learning. Additionally, I began researching teaching standards and practice in British schools, and I uncovered quite a bit of evidence of systemic failures with regard to instruction in learning and thinking skills. Children must be adept in thinking skills to have any chance in developing into self-directed learners. In the national curriculum, problem-solving skills and thinking skills are mentioned in the Handbook for Teachers. This document claims that the instruction in these skills are embedded in the curriculum. This may be true, but in my experience, students rarely come to me with the essential thinking, problem solving, and study skills that drive self-directed learning. And I believe this is largely because of the overwhelming priority put on test preparation. Informal interviews I've carried out with teachers and students confirm this. In a recent TED Talk, Sir Ken Robinson stated, and I quote, "Part of the problem with education is that the dominant culture has come to focus on not teaching and learning, but testing. Testing is important. Standardized tests have a place, but they should not be the dominant culture. They should be diagnostic," end quote. High-stakes standardized testing has widely been used for the past 20-plus years by successive governments as a tool of accountability for schools, teachers, and students. This high-stakes testing promotes teaching to the test, which narrows the curriculum, promotes a lack of diversity in teaching strategies, which leads to rote memorization of isolated facts. This study strategy does not develop higher order cognitive skills, and as a result of this, students have grown used to passive learning. Standardized testing is also used to divide children into sets based on their test scores and as a measure of perceived intelligence. Dr. Carol Dweck's research has shown that this practice reinforces student belief that they have no control as learners and that work will not change their academic performance.